Hey guys, welcome to Everyday Journey. Today, before I even get started, just to show you what I bought. Look at this saw. Isn't that thing crazy? Yeah, just figured I'd show you this. Subscribe there and you'll be able to see what I'm planning on doing with this thing later, but that thing's pretty big. To get to the meat of what we're going to do today, today I'm going to talk about lawn care business. I've had a lawn care business for 5-6 years now, and I actually, I gotta give, Geek to Freak Fitness and Lawn Care. It's no longer out there anymore. Good old Greg Chisholm. Got to give him a little credit. He's probably not doing it anymore. If he is, then good. But I think he's probably on to better things, given what I've seen. But he's kind of what gave me the motivation and the confidence to actually do this. So, and I've been doing it ever since. I actually started out full time. Well, I started out growing to full time, and since then I've made some changes to where now I'm only doing it part time. But I've learned a lot along the way, and I figured I'd share things with you guys. So right here I've got 20 do's for things you should do in starting a lawn care business and working in lawn care business. So first off, wear PPE, or some people, or personal protective equipment. I see so many guys out there that are mowing, and they've got headphones in or nothing in their ears. They've got no eye protection. They're not wearing the proper attire as far as boots and things go. They're wearing shorts, which is fine, but really and truly you should probably wear pants, because you'll be kicking back stuff on your legs. And that's just not, that's not something you want to have to deal with. So that's the very first thing. Make sure you're always protecting yourself, because if you can't hear, you can't see, you're not going to be able to work. So number 2, expect hard work. For those starting off trying to do this or thinking they want to do it, expect hard work, because there's nothing. It's hard no matter which way you look at it. It's rough. It will break you down, and when you get to where you're getting as many customers as you can actually handle in a day or in a week, you're going to feel it. It hurts. Just imagine when you mow your own yard, you get out there and at the end you're tired. Well, imagine doing 10 of those a day. So you can see it's pretty difficult. So expect long hours, especially in the beginning, because you don't have the right customers. So by that I mean, in the beginning everybody's going to start off small. You're going to start off with those jobs that either 1, nobody else wanted, or 2, that you're just charging rock bottom prices so that you can just get to work. And that's perfectly fine, but eventually you're going to start weeding those customers out, or you're going to actually start charging more for it, and they may quit having you as a provider for that service because you're charging more. But eventually you'll get to the point where you've got the right amount of customers at the right amount of pay, and you won't have to work as long. But in the beginning you're going to be working like crazy. So expect that. If you don't expect that, don't even get into it, because it's not going to work out for you if you don't want to work hard and work for a long time. So the next thing is, safety thing, is keep a cooler of water on your truck. It doesn't have to have ice in it, but it'd be preferred. What a lot of people do, and what I've done before, is actually have water bottles that are frozen. Take those water bottles and put them in the cooler throughout the day as they cool. Put some ones that are not frozen in there so you can drink those first. But as they thaw out, you've got more water to drink, and you can leave those in there, put more the next day, and use the first ones as your water. But also, and this is just from a profit standpoint, bring your lunch. It's too easy to be out there and be working, and now you're hungry, and now you're going to go out and you blow it at a restaurant, whether it's fast food or not. And it's going to be unhealthy. It's going to be expensive. So you're going to lose more of your profits that way. So The next important thing for you to do is keep a first aid kit, because I've done it. You never know what you're going to run into. I've actually gashed my finger open quite a bit with just, with a hedge trimmer. It wasn't even on at the time. It just, those things are sharp, and, along with that first aid kit, I've always liked having some electrical tape, because you can kind of wrap a finger up with that and just keep working. So, the next important thing, and it's kind of part of the PPE, is sunscreen. You either want sunscreen or you want long sleeves. Definitely have you a hat that covers well, because and I normally wear a baseball cap, but preferably what would be better for you is to actually wear a hat that has a brim to it that covers your ears and your neck, because it's so easy. I mean, these ears are exposed all the time, and you're going to end up with some type of sun cancer or something, skin cancer. So get sunscreen. The next thing, and this is probably from a business standpoint, is probably the most important thing, is be reliable. I mean, you can't help it if it rained for 6 days that week. Now you've got all your work on one day that you got to try to keep up with. But be reliable the best you can, and when you say you're going to be there. There are a lot of lawns you can find that you'll learn whenever it starts raining and stuff. You'll learn, what yards you can do in the rain, what yards you can't do in the rain, and whenever it's raining, go ahead and do those ones you can do in the rain, because you're going to be so backed up that you got to do something. So you'll never be able to keep up if you don't. The next thing with the business is start small. You could start big if you want, but then you're probably going out and buying all this equipment and everything. I mean, you're going to have huge amounts of money that you're actually spending on this, and you're getting $30, $40, $50, maybe $100 for a yard. It's going to take a while for that money to start coming back. So if you start small with whatever you can afford, preferably 2 of each piece of equipment, and by 2 I mean maybe get a riding lawnmower and a push mower. That's getting what you need with the riding lawnmower, but the push mower will get it done if you need to. But try your best to get used equipment if you can, especially in the beginning. Just make sure you know somebody that's if you don't know anything about it, get somebody that does, so that they can come with you and pick out what's a good piece of equipment. Because if it's not any good, you're going to be just working on that thing all the time, or just throwing it away and getting something new. So but in the beginning also, it's a good idea to have you another job. I say I do it part-time now. I have a full-time job, but I do it part-time just because, well, I love doing it so much. The next thing is get that backup equipment as soon as you can. Hold out some of your money to go towards trying to get more equipment. I know it's nice to be able to just, especially if you really need the money, you taking every bit of it and you're using it for whatever you need to, but any bit you can, save it, because you will have equipment break down. It's inevitable. So you need the backup equipment, because you can't just not mow their yard because your equipment broke. You fix it on the spot, or you get your other piece of equipment and actually make it happen. If you knew a buddy that had extra equipment or whatever, that could kind of help you some, but most likely they're using theirs. Let's see what we got. Setting aside the money for the equipment, well, set aside the money for maintenance too, because the stuff will break. Even if you got a backup, you still need to fix the one so that you got 2 again. So set aside money for that. And it's gonna, it's really and truly, it's best to set aside as much as you can right from the word go, because you want to be able to cover anything that happens. And the more money you have on hand, more liquid assets, I guess you could say, the better you can actually get over those speed bumps when they come. Next thing we got here is work on your own equipment. If you don't know how, you can watch my channel. I work on some things. Watch YouTube in general, and learn how to do it, because it would cost you an arm and a leg to have your stuff worked on. If you don't know how to do it, or you can't afford to, or it's just easier, faster for you to pay somebody else to do it so that you can keep going, that's fine. But it helps to be able to work on your equipment. So work on your own equipment, and it'll make things a lot better for you. The next thing, sharpen your blades often. The duller the blades, the more work you're actually doing. If it goes through, the mower goes over and it doesn't cut, you got to go back over it to cut it. So if you're actually ending up mowing a yard twice when you could have just mowed it once, the duller it gets, the harder it is to sharpen. So if you do it often, you're not going to have to worry about anything because it's going to be sharp for every job. Well, this next one, this is going on to a business standpoint. Really and truly, you want to have your customers either set up on a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis. You'll get these customers out there that say, yeah, I want to do it every 10 days, or I want to do it every 8 days, or hey, we'll do it 2 weeks and I'll give you a call if it seems like it really needs it beforehand. And in the beginning, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get those kind of customers. But in the end, you want to be set up with constant, weekly things that you can do on a schedule, and actually, it's just too hard to work around that other stuff. So you want to make a schedule, because if nothing else, at the beginning of the day what you're doing, and that that'll help you plan for the day, and even for the week and everything else. But at the same time, make a schedule. But if you get behind, that schedule will help you get caught back up, because you'll know what you missed. So just keep up with that, and you can do it however you want to. Some people just write a list. I always just made a monthly calendar. I like to just keep a folder out there with all my paperwork in it, and that folder had a monthly calendar in there, and it's just printed out with a maybe Excel or something like that. Just printed it out and put all my customers in there, so I knew what I had to do that day. One thing that's going to help you out a lot, this next one, is pre-bill the night before for your customers for that day. You never want to get further than one mowing behind. It's fine that you mow the first time and then you bill them the next time you come out there, but you don't want to get too far behind, because what I always did is I gave them a little bit of leeway. You always want to give them leeway. So I was billing on a monthly basis, and some customers, that's fine. But then you get the ones that won't pay or are slow to pay. If they haven't paid, you don't want to lose a customer because they're slow, so you go ahead and mow again. If you're doing it on a monthly basis, it could be 2 months before you've basically given up on them. And if that's the case, then you may be out $200, $300, $400. It just depends on the customer. So make sure you're pre-billing, so as you're mowing you can give them the bill, and that way you've got it to where you're never that far behind, so that they get the money to you. You know when to quit ahead of time, so you're not just mowing for nothing, because you're mowing for such a little amount that most of the time that you're not going to go after them in the end to get that money, so you're basically just going to lose it. Luckily, you're only out labor, a little bit of gas, and whatever wear and tear you have on your equipment, but still, that goes with you, goes against your business. So you want to do that. The next thing here I got is charge enough, because in the beginning you will not be charging enough. I probably still don't, and I don't do it because I don't really need the money. But if I were to go back and do it as a full-time business and that's all I had, I would have to change things and charge enough, because it's just, especially here where I live in Tennessee, you've got 4 months out of the year minimum that you're not going to be able to do anything, and so you're going to have to find extra work or something like that. If you need to get by during those 4 months or so, you need to make the money ahead of time. So charge enough, and that way you can actually hopefully make enough money to get you through the entire year, not just the mowing season. So you want to make sure too that your time is valuable. So charge accordingly. You can go out there and undercut everybody and get the work, but it's not going to help you in the end. You're just going to lose it all maintenance, wear and tear, and that you're just not going to make enough to make it through the winter months. So you take that with a grain of salt. Do what you need to do. Next thing is expect change, and then change quickly, because things will change and you need to make the changes as quick as you can so you can just stay on track. And that pretty much goes with everything in life, but you'll find if you own your own business, that's something you're going to have to do each day sometimes. So in the beginning, another thing you want to do is take notes on your jobs. And by that I mean maybe do a quick sketch as you're walking around with a customer for the yard, so that you can have a diagram of what that yard looks like, what things you may need to mow around. It'll help you too in the end too, is if you need to bring on extra work or extra workers to help you, employees, you could give them your notebook with all that stuff in it, and you could say, just look over that diagram, look over the instructions for that yard. They would know, this is everything I need to mow around, this is where I need to edge, this is the cutting height, because different customers like different cutting heights, and it's just quick and easy, and you could forget that year, throughout the 4 months of winter or so, and get back, and now you're like, what height do I need to mow this at? And they may not be around, so the customers anyway, so they may get mad if you do it the wrong level. I've got one that wants it all the way at the top, and I don't like it that way, but hey, it's their yard. So the second to last one here is know what you're doing and don't do what you don't know. And by that I mean mowing's easy, mowing's simple, but if you get into any further things, side jobs, landscaping, things like that, you could even do some extra work for them, and it's completely out of the realm of lawn care. And you want to make sure that you only do what you can do. If you don't know how to do it, at the very least tell them you'll hold off on that until you can learn a little more about it. And once you feel comfortable doing it, and you're not going to lose a customer over that, or whatever it is you're doing, then go ahead and tell them, give them a price, do it, whatever it is. But definitely make sure that you're not doing anything you don't know, because if you go mess up something, you've now lost a customer. I've got customers that I've been mowing their grass now for 6-7 years, something like that, and I'd hate to do something and mess something up there and lose them. I could be mowing for the rest of my life for them, and that could be thousands and thousands of dollars. So, if you're doing side jobs, and you will in the very beginning, just make sure you're doing only what you know how to do. And if you don't know how to do it, learn it. So, and that leads me to the very last thing, and that's ask for side work. People will have things like, anything. I mow grass for older customers sometimes they're elderly. They can't do it. May be just something as simple as changing a light bulb, and almost anybody, and I say almost because there are some people, almost anybody knows how to do that. And they just can't do it. They physically just can't do it. So if they need something like that and they know that they can give you a call, it makes them feel a lot better that they can get things done. Maybe they got to pay you $5 for coming over there just to change a light bulb or two, but it costs them more than that to have anybody else do it. And you're somebody that they know and trust, hopefully trust, and so you're doing them a favor, and they feel grateful that you're helping them out, and you can pay them too, or they can pay you too, and you can feel good about that you're helping and making money at the same time. So yeah, check and ask, because it never hurts. Do some side work for somebody. So those are 20 things right there, and I'm sure I could think of a lot more, but those are 20 things that I have learned about the mowing business that maybe will help you guys out. Like in the beginning, I had Greg Chisholm, Geek to Freak Lawn Care. I had him to watch his videos, and I learned a lot from him. He's a pretty smart guy, and I'm glad to see that he's moved on to bigger and better things. I don't know for sure how well that's going for him, but it looked to me like it was going pretty good. So, but yeah, he was a great guy. Motivation, you know, giving it out to everybody there. And he actually started a pretty good, like, you know, I see people all the time mowing now. There's trucks with push mowers on the back. There's trucks and trailers running. I mean, that's just, you see a lot more of them than there used to be, and I think he's part of that. So he definitely deserves credit. That's what I've got for you guys today. Hopefully hopefully it wasn't too long, and hopefully you enjoyed it. And I hope for those who are thinking about it that you take this information and go with it, because it's what I've learned, and I think it will help you out quite a bit. So anyway, you guys take care. Please subscribe. Right over here, I think, is where it's going to be. Please subscribe, because I know the subscription thing's kind of broken for YouTube anyway, but please subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Make me feel better about the fact that I take my time to help people out. And then check out my other videos too. I try to get them out there as often as I can, but I've got a pretty busy life, so, and I'm sure you do too. But you guys take care.